The public safety minister says amendments to Ottawa's controversial gun control legislation are not intended to target law-abiding gun owners. But that's exactly what critics say the proposed changes to Bill C-21 are doing. The backlash has been swift from hunters, Indigenous groups, and opposition MPs, as well as some provinces.
This is very political. This is not about targeting safety. This is not about targeting reducing gun crime.
Joining me now is Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino. Thank you for joining us, Minister. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me.
I have to start with this amendment. What was the deal? Why did you decide to tack this onto handgun legislation, and it seems take a lot of your stakeholders by surprise?
Well, the purpose of Bill C-21 is to reduce gun crime. And when we tabled it last spring, we did say that we would be open about receiving an amendment to create an evergreen provision, which is a model agnostic approach to prohibiting certain firearms which were either designed for the battlefield or are too dangerous for civilian purposes. And there are some objective criteria by which we judge certain guns either to fall into that military style category or are too dangerous. And the rationale here is to move away from cherry picking firearms, which can sometimes be politicized. And we want to take the temperature down. We know that there have been concerns that have been expressed, which is why we're going to support the committee in its study of this bill. We're going to engage with hunters and farmers and Indigenous peoples who have expressed concerns to make whatever fine tuning to get this right. There's a lot of work.
But with all due respect, Minister, and with all those goals, and I understand, I mean, I think all Canadians would like to see gun violence reduced, it doesn't answer the question about where you got the advice to put this amendment in. Where did that advice on what should be in here come from? Was it political staff? Was it PMO? Was it the public service? It doesn't seem to have been a lot of the folks who feel they're being targeted. So who advised you to do this?
Well, in fact, when we introduced our national assault-style rifle ban, there was broad support from law enforcement because these guns are too dangerous to be left in our communities. So we are getting advice from nonpartisan professional public servants, including law enforcement. And we recognize that the amendment does require some very thoughtful and careful study, which it is hard work. It is emotionally charged at times, which is why we want to take the temperature down and have a debate that is based on facts and not fear.
But Minister, I mean, you say you want a debate based on facts but not fear. AR-15s and military-style assault rifles aren't what Indigenous hunters are using. So how did the amendment end up written the way that it is, where these groups are saying, and it's not just one, it's groups across the country who are saying that this is catching up legitimate hunting rifles that don't have an AR-15's capabilities?
Well, I think the vast majority of the models that are listed and the ones that would be captured by the objective criteria in the evergreen provision would not be controversial. That having been said, again, we do understand that concerns have been expressed around some of the models that may be legitimately used by hunters and Indigenous peoples, which is why we're going to support the committee in its study of this, which is why we're going to engage. And I have been engaging with rural communities, with hunting communities, with Indigenous peoples to make sure that we get this right.
I'd like to